Hello, everyone, and welcome to my podcast. My name is Julia, and today I'm going to share something very special with you, my personal journey learning English. This episode is for all English learners, especially those at an intermediate level who might sometimes feel stuck, tired, or unsure of their progress. I want you to know you're not alone. I've been there too. Learning a new language is not easy. It takes time, effort, and a lot of patience. But it can also be a very rewarding and exciting journey. In this episode, I'll talk about how I started learning English, what challenges I faced, how I overcame them, and what helped me improve. I'll also share tips that worked for me and things I wish I had known earlier. So grab your notebook, your cup of tea, or whatever makes you feel comfortable, and let's go on this experience journey together. I hope my story will inspire you, make you smile, and help you feel more confident in your own English journey. Let's begin. My English learning journey started when I was a teenager. I grew up in a small town where people mostly spoke our native language. English was taught in school, but only in a very basic way. We learned grammar rules and vocabulary lists, but we didn't practice speaking or listening very much. At first, I didn't enjoy English. I thought it was just another subject I had to pass in school. I didn't understand why it was important. But one day, something changed. I was watching a movie with subtitles, and I heard how beautiful and expressive English could be. I realized that English was more than just grammar rules. It was a way to connect with the world. That was the moment I decided I wanted to learn English seriously. I wanted to understand the movies without subtitles. I wanted to sing along to English songs and understand the lyrics. I wanted to travel and speak to people from other countries. I had a dream, and English became the key to that dream. But I didn't know where to start. My school didn't provide speaking practice, and I didn't have English-speaking friends. So I started with what I had, books and the internet. I borrowed English books from the library. At first, I could understand only a few words on each page, but I kept reading. I also started watching YouTube videos and listening to English podcasts. It was not easy. Many times, I felt frustrated. Sometimes, I didn't understand anything. I would rewind the video again and again. I would pause a podcast and try to repeat the sentence, but it sounded nothing like the speaker. I felt shy and nervous when I tried to speak. I thought, maybe I'm not good at languages. But I didn't give up. I remembered why I started. I remembered my dream. And slowly I saw improvement. I could understand more words. I could watch a whole movie and enjoy it. I could sing along with songs and understand the meaning. One big turning point for me was when I started speaking to myself in English. I know it sounds funny, but it helped so much. I would describe my day in English, talk about how I felt, or practice conversations in front of a mirror. It built my confidence, and it helped me think in English. I also joined an online English group where I could practice speaking with other learners. At first, I was scared. I thought people would laugh at my mistakes. But the group was kind and supportive. Everyone was learning, just like me. We encouraged each other and shared learning tips. Step by step, I improved. I still made mistakes, but I learned from them. I started writing a journal in English every night. I wrote about my day, my dreams, my thoughts, anything. Writing helped me organize my thoughts and remember vocabulary better. One of the best things I did was changing the language settings on my phone and apps to English. In that way, I saw English every day. Even small things like reading helped my brain get used to the language. I want to tell you this. Don't worry about being perfect. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Mistakes are not your enemy. They are your teachers. Every time you make a mistake and learn from it, you grow stronger. English is not just about knowing all the words. It's about using the words you know to express yourself, even if it's not perfect. Learning English was not always a smooth journey. There were many challenges along the way, and sometimes I felt like giving up. But looking back now, I realize those hard moments helped me grow the most. One of my biggest challenges was listening. In the beginning, I couldn't understand native speakers at all. They spoke too fast, used slang, and connected their words in a way that made everything sound like one long sentence. I remember listening to an English podcast for the first time and thinking, did they just say 10 sentences in one breath? It felt impossible. To improve, I started with slow and clear audio. I listened to beginner-friendly English podcasts and watched videos where the speakers talked slowly. I also used subtitles in English, not my native language, that helped me connect the sounds with the written words. I listened to the same episode many times. The first time I understood only 20%, then maybe 50%, and slowly almost everything. Repetition helped me so much. Another big challenge was speaking. I was afraid of sounding stupid. I worried about my pronunciation and grammar.
I didn't want people to laugh at me.
Because of that fear, I stayed silent for a long time. But silence didn't help me improve. What helped me was realizing that making mistakes is normal. Every learner makes them. Even native speakers make grammar mistakes sometimes. So I stopped trying to speak perfectly, and I started speaking bravely. I joined online English meetups and conversation clubs. I also practiced with voice recording apps. I would talk about my day, record it, and then listen to it. At first, it was painful to hear my own voice, but over time, I noticed improvements. My confidence grew little by little. Then came the challenge of vocabulary. English has so many words. I learned a new word today and forgot it tomorrow. It felt like I was trying to carry water with my hands. Everything slipped away. So, I changed my method. I stopped trying to memorize long lists of vocabulary. Instead, I learned words in context. For example, I learned the word frustrated not just as a word on a list, but by reading it in a sentence like, I felt frustrated when I couldn't understand the speaker. I also wrote example sentences of my own. This made new words easier to remember. Another technique that helped me was using flashcards, especially apps like Anki or Quizlet. I use spaced repetition, which means the app shows you the word just before you're about to forget it. It was an easy and effective way to review. Grammar was also difficult for me. There were so many tenses, so many rules, and so many exceptions to those rules. I used to get confused between I have been, I had been, and I was. I read grammar books, but it didn't help much until I saw the grammar in action in real conversations, stories, or videos. So I stopped focusing on learning all the grammar at once. I focused on one thing at a time. For example, I practiced only the present perfect tense for 1 week. I made sentences every day like, I've just finished my homework, or I have never been to London. I listened for that tense in podcasts and tried to use it in my speaking. Slowly, it became more natural. Another big challenge was motivation. At times, I felt like I was not improving at all. I would ask myself, why am I doing this? Especially when I didn't see quick results. I felt discouraged. But I learned that progress is not always visible day by day. It's like planting a seed. You don't see the tree right away, but something is growing underground. To stay motivated, I made my learning fun. I watched English movies and TV shows that I enjoyed. I listened to music and read books that I loved. I also celebrated small wins, like when I understood a whole video without subtitles or when I used a new word correctly in a conversation. I also kept a learning journal. Every week, I wrote what I had learned, what I still found hard, and what I was proud of. Looking back at those entries helped me see how far I had come. I also changed my mindset. I stopped comparing myself to others. Everyone's journey is different. Some people learn faster, some slower. And that's okay. What matters is not speed, but consistency. Finally, I found a learning community. This made a huge difference. Learning alone can feel boring or lonely, but learning with others brings energy and joy. I joined online groups, followed English learning accounts on social media, and made friends who were also learning English. We shared tips, helped each other, and celebrated our progress together. Now that I've told you about the challenges I faced, I want to share the things that really helped me improve my English. These methods and habits changed everything for me, and I hope they can help you too. First, the most powerful tool for me was daily practice. Even if it was just 15 or 20 minutes a day, I made sure I was doing something in English every single day. Some days I read, some days I listened, and other days I spoke or wrote. But the key was consistency. Small steps every day are better than big steps once a week. I used to tell myself, even if I learn one new word today, that's still progress. I also started doing something I call living in English. This means surrounding myself with English in my daily life. I changed my phone and computer settings to English. I followed English-speaking YouTubers, listened to English podcasts while cooking or walking, and tried to think in English whenever I could. For example, when I saw a cup, I didn't think in my native language. I just said cup in my mind. If I was planning my day, I did it in English. Thinking in English was a big change. At first, it felt strange, but soon, it became natural. It helped me speak faster and understand more. It also helped me stop translating in my head, something that used to slow me down. Another thing that really helped me was reading books and articles in English. I didn't start with difficult books. I began with children's books and short stories. Then I moved to novels and news articles. I underlined new words, wrote them down, and tried to guess the meaning from the context before looking them up. I also found graded readers, books written especially for English learners. They're written at different levels, so I could choose the level that was right for me. Reading these books gave me confidence and improved both my vocabulary and grammar. When it came to listening practice, I chose topics I loved. I listened to podcasts about English learning, but also about travel, culture, and motivation. That way, I wasn't just learning the language, I was learning something interesting through the language. I also practiced shadowing, a technique where you listen to a short audio and try to repeat exactly what the speaker says at the same time or just after. This helped improve my pronunciation, rhythm, and fluency. It was hard at first, but after some practice, it really made a difference. Speaking was the hardest skill for me to improve, but I found ways to make it easier. One method was recording myself. I would choose a simple topic, like my favorite food or what I did today, and talk for 1 or 2 minutes. Then I would listen to the recording, notice my mistakes, and try again. Over time, I became more fluent and confident. I also joined language exchange programs online. I found English speakers who wanted to learn my native language, and we helped each other. We spoke for 30 minutes in English and 30 minutes in my language. It was fun and very useful. Another thing that helped me was goal setting. I didn't just say, I want to learn English. I made clear, small goals. For example, learn 5 new words every day. Watch 1 TED Talk every week. Write 1 journal entry every night. Have 1 English conversation every weekend. When I reached those goals, I felt proud and motivated. And when I didn't give up. I simply adjusted my plan and kept going. I also used English apps like Duolingo, BBC Learning English, and HelloTalk. These apps made learning fun and interactive. I played games, chatted with people, and learned at my own pace. One more helpful tool was keeping a vocabulary notebook. In that notebook, I didn't just write the new words, I wrote the meaning, example sentences, synonyms, and sometimes even little drawings to help me remember. I reviewed this notebook every week. It became my personal dictionary. And perhaps the most important thing that helped me improve was my attitude. I tried to stay positive. I reminded myself that I didn't need to be perfect, I just needed to keep improving. I celebrated small victories and learned from my mistakes. I was patient with myself. I also told myself, I am an English speaker. Not I'm trying to be, but I already am. That mindset gave me confidence. Even if my English wasn't perfect, I believed in myself, and that belief helped me grow. As I look back on my English learning journey, there are many things I wish I had known earlier. If I had understood these things at the beginning, maybe my progress would have been faster and definitely less stressful. I want to share them with you so you can learn from my experience. First, I wish I knew that mistakes are a natural part of learning. In the beginning, I was afraid to speak because I didn't want to make mistakes. I thought that making a mistake meant I was failing, but that's not true. Mistakes are a sign that you are trying. They are a sign that you are stepping out of your comfort zone. Every mistake is an opportunity to learn something new. If you wait until your English is perfect before you speak, you will wait forever. The best way to improve is to speak now, even if you make mistakes. The more you practice, the better you will become. Remember, babies don't speak perfectly from the first day. They make mistakes for years before they speak fluently. Secondly, I wish I knew that input is just as important as output. For a long time, I focused only on studying grammar and memorizing vocabulary. But I didn't spend enough time listening and reading. Now I know that the more you listen and read, the better your speaking and writing will become. Your brain needs to see and hear the language a lot before it can produce it naturally. So if you want to speak better English, don't just study grammar books. Watch movies, listen to podcasts, read articles, and enjoy stories in English. Fill your mind with good English, and soon, good English will start to come out of your mouth. Another thing I wish I knew earlier is that fluency is more important than accuracy at the beginning. Of course, grammar is important, but it's okay to make small grammar mistakes when you're speaking. Focus on communicating your ideas first. You can always correct your grammar later. When I stopped worrying about every little grammar mistake, my speaking became faster and more natural. Communication is the goal. If people can understand you, you are succeeding. I also wish I knew that learning English is not a straight line. Sometimes you feel like you are improving very fast. Other times, you feel like you are not improving at all. That's normal. Progress often happens in waves. You might study hard for a month and feel no change, and then suddenly, one day, everything feels easier. Don't give up when you hit a plateau, that flat period where it feels like nothing is happening.
Keep going.
Trust the process. Growth is happening inside you, even if you can't see it yet. Another important lesson is that enjoyment matters. If you are bored, you will quit. If you are excited, you will keep going. So find ways to make English fun. Watch movies you love. Read books that make you happy. Listen to songs that move your heart. Talk about topics you are passionate about. When learning is fun, it doesn't feel like work. It feels like a part of your life. One more thing I wish I knew earlier. Comparison is the thief of joy. When I compared myself to other learners who were faster or better, I felt discouraged. I thought, maybe I'm just not good enough. But now I understand that everyone has a different path. Some people have more time to study. Some people live in English-speaking countries. Some people have talents in language learning. And some people, like me, have to work a little harder. And that's okay. The only person you should compare yourself to is the person you were yesterday. Are you improving? Are you learning? Are you trying? If the answer is yes, then you are doing great. Finally, I wish I knew that confidence is a skill, not something you are born with. You can build it, step by step. Every time you speak English, even if you are nervous, you are building your confidence. Every conversation, every practice session, every little effort makes you stronger. Confidence is not about knowing everything. Confidence is about trusting yourself even when you don't know everything. If I could go back and talk to my younger self, I would say, be kind to yourself. Be patient.
Keep going.
You are better than you think. One day, you will speak English freely, and you will be proud of how far you have come. Now, I want to share some of my favorite tools and resources that really helped me on my English learning journey. These are things that made learning easier, faster, and more enjoyable for me. Maybe they will be helpful for you too. First, one of my favorite resources was YouTube. There are so many great channels for learning English. Some of the ones I loved were channels like English Addict with Mr. Steve, Speak English with Vanessa, and BBC Learning English. They explained grammar clearly, taught useful phrases, and gave real examples of how English is used in daily life. I especially loved watching videos where teachers spoke slowly and clearly. I could pause, repeat after them, and even shadow their speech. YouTube made learning fun because it didn't feel like studying. It felt like I was just listening to a friend talk. Next, I really enjoyed using English podcasts. Podcasts are amazing because you can listen to them while doing other things, walking, cooking, or cleaning. Some podcasts I liked were The English We Speak by BBC Learning English and All Ears English. They taught natural phrases and real-life conversations. Listening to podcasts helped me get used to the sound of English. At first, it was hard to catch everything, but with practice, my ears became stronger. I could understand more without needing to translate in my head. Another tool that helped me a lot was language exchange apps. Apps like HelloTalk and Tandem allowed me to meet native English speakers who wanted to learn my language. We helped each other by chatting, sending voice messages, and sometimes even doing video calls. At first, I was shy to talk to strangers. But soon, I realized that they didn't expect me to be perfect, they just wanted to have a friendly conversation. Speaking with real people made my English much more natural and less textbook-like. I also used online dictionaries, but not just any dictionary. I preferred dictionaries that gave example sentences and audio pronunciation. My favorite one was the Cambridge Online Dictionary. Every time I learned a new word, I would check how to pronounce it and how it was used in different sentences. One very simple but powerful resource was subtitled movies and TV shows. I watched many English shows with English subtitles. Shows like Friends or The Big Bang Theory were great because the conversations were natural and funny. Watching with subtitles helped me connect spoken English with written English. Later, when I got better, I tried watching without subtitles. That was a big milestone for me. Another tool I loved was flashcard apps like Anki and Quizlet. These apps helped me memorize vocabulary using spaced repetition. Spaced repetition means you review words right before you're about to forget them. It's a very effective method for long-term memory. I created flashcards not just with the English word and its meaning, but also with an example sentence. For example, front of card, frustrated back of card. I felt frustrated when I couldn't find my keys. This method helped me remember not only the word, but also how to use it correctly in a sentence. Writing journals also played a big role in my improvement. Every night, I wrote a short paragraph in English about my day or my thoughts. In the beginning, my writing was full of simple sentences like, "Today, I went to the market." But over time, my sentences grew longer and more complex. Writing helped me organize my ideas and use new vocabulary. Another great tool was Grammarly, an app that checks your English writing for mistakes. It doesn't just correct your mistakes, it also explains why something is wrong. This helped me learn from my errors instead of repeating them. And of course, I used grammar books too, but I chose books that were simple and clear. One of my favorites was English Grammar in Use by Raymond Murphy. It had short explanations, lots of exercises, and answers at the back, so I could check myself. Finally, I discovered motivational communities, Facebook groups, Reddit forums, and Instagram accounts full of English learners. Seeing other people's progress, struggles, and tips kept me motivated. I didn't feel alone on my journey anymore. Sometimes I even posted my own questions or shared my little successes, like finishing my first English novel or having a conversation without getting stuck. The community always cheered for me, and that positive energy pushed me to keep going. In summary, here's a list of the resources that helped me the most. YouTube channels for English learners, English learning podcasts, language exchange apps, online dictionaries with audio examples, movies and TV shows with subtitles, flashcard apps like Anki and Quizlet, daily journal writing in English, Grammarly for writing corrections, friendly grammar books, online learning communities. The truth is, there are so many great tools out there. The important thing is to find what you enjoy and what works for your learning style. Not every tool works for every person. Some people love flashcards, others prefer watching movies. Some love grammar exercises, others prefer conversation. The best advice I can give you is experiment and find your favorite mix. Learning English is not about using just one perfect method. It's about creating a life full of English, little by little, step by step. As I reach the end of sharing my English learning journey, I want to talk about how learning English has changed my life. It's not just about speaking another language. It's about the opportunities, the confidence, and the new world it opened for me. First of all, English gave me access to more information. When I learned English, suddenly I could read articles, watch videos, and listen to experts from all around the world. I wasn't limited to only information in my native language anymore. I could learn about anything, science, history, cooking, business, technology, directly from global sources. Knowledge is power, and English gave me much more knowledge than I ever had before. Secondly, English helped me make new friends from different countries. Through language exchange apps, online courses, and even travel, I met people from places like the United States, the United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, and even non-English speaking countries like Japan, Germany, and Brazil. Speaking English became a bridge between us. We could share our cultures, our dreams, our stories. I learned that even though we are from different places, we are all connected in many ways. English helped me see the world with new eyes, eyes full of understanding and respect. Learning English also boosted my career opportunities. In today's globalized world, English is often the language of business. Many jobs require English skills, and being able to communicate confidently in English gave me an advantage. I could write emails, join international meetings, read professional documents, and even apply for jobs that I would not have dared to before. English didn't just improve my skills, it improved my confidence. I started believing, I can do this. I have something valuable to offer. Another beautiful thing is that English helped me travel more easily. When I visited other countries, English was the key that opened doors. Even in countries where English isn't the first language, many people speak basic English. Whether it was ordering food, asking for directions, or making new friends while traveling, English made everything smoother and more fun. Traveling with English is like carrying a magic key in your pocket. It gives you freedom and confidence. But perhaps the most personal and important change was how English changed the way I see myself. When I first started, I was shy and unsure. I thought, maybe I'm not good enough to learn a foreign language. But every time I practiced, every time I improved, I became stronger inside. Learning English taught me patience. It taught me perseverance. It taught me that mistakes are not the end, they are just part of the path to success. Now, when I face challenges in other areas of my life, I remember how I learned English. I remind myself, I didn't give up then. I won't give up now. Learning English was not just about words and grammar. It was about building a new version of myself, a more confident, open, and brave Julia. Today, English is a part of my daily life. I use it at work, I enjoy it in my hobbies, and I continue to grow with it. I still make mistakes sometimes, and that's okay. Learning never really ends. But now I enjoy the journey, not just the destination. To anyone listening who is learning English, I want to tell you, you are stronger than you think. You are smarter than you know. You are already a success because you have the courage to try. Every time you study, every time you practice, every time you push yourself to speak, you are building a brighter future for yourself. Don't give up. Be proud of how far you have come, and excited for how far you'll go. English has truly changed my life, and I believe it can change yours too. Thank you for listening to my story. This was Julia, and this was my experience journey learning English. I'm cheering for you always. Keep going.